Imagine standing on the deck of a single wooden ship. You look behind you, and you see only 12 allies, beaten, tired, and terrified. Then you look forward. In front of you, the ocean is swallowed by over 300 enemy warships, carrying thousands of samurai ready to end your nation's existence. The king told him to abandon the sea. His own generals begged him to run, but Admiral Yi Sun-shin looked at the wall of enemy wood and iron and gave one final order. Those who seek death shall live. Those who seek life shall die. In 7 years of the most brutal naval warfare the world had ever seen, this man was stripped of his rank, tortured by his own government, and forced to fight with the scraps of a broken navy. Yet he fought 23 major battles. He was outnumbered in every single one, and he won every single time. This is the full legendary story of the admiral who never lost. To understand why Yi Sun-shin is a legend, you have to understand the nightmare Korea faced. In 1592, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the man who unified Japan, launched an invasion of staggering scale. His goal wasn't just Korea, he wanted China, and eventually, the world. He unleashed 158,000 battle-hardened samurai across the Korea Strait. It was the D-Day of the 16th century. Korea, after 200 years of peace, was utterly helpless on land. Their fortresses fell in days. The capital was captured in weeks. The king fled to the Chinese border, and the country was effectively gone. The Japanese had one fatal flaw in their plan, though. Their army needed food and gunpowder from Japan. To get it, they had to control the sea, and standing in that sea was a man who had only been a naval commander for a year. May 7th, 1592. The Battle of Okpo. While the Korean army was retreating in terror, Yi Sun-shin did the unthinkable. He attacked. He knew the Japanese sailors were primarily transports and raiders, not experts in naval cannon warfare. Using superior ship construction and heavier cannons, Yi's fleet tore through the Japanese at anchor. He didn't just win, he annihilated them. 26 Japanese ships sank to the bottom. Korean casualties? 0. This wasn't just a victory, it was a message. The Japanese supply line was no longer safe. For the first time in the war, the invincible samurai felt fear. By May 29th, at the Battle of Sacheon, Yi unveiled his secret weapon, the Jeobuxion, or turtle ship. Imagine a tank, but on the water, 300 years before the first ironclad ships appeared in the West. The deck was covered in iron plating and razor-sharp spikes to prevent the Japanese from their favorite tactic, boarding and hand-to-hand combat. From the Dragon's Head at the front, it breathed thick smoke to hide the fleet, and from its sides, it unleashed a constant hail of cannon fire. At Sacheon, Yi sent the turtle ship directly into the heart of the enemy formation. It was a massacre. Even when Yi was shot in the shoulder by a musket ball, he refused to show pain, standing on deck to ensure the Japanese fleet was completely broken. The Japanese finally realized they had to kill Yi to win the war. They sent their best naval commanders and their largest fleet to Hansen Island. Yi knew they were trying to lure him into a trap, so he lured them into a bigger one. He sent a small group of ships to panic and retreat into open water. The Japanese, sensing blood, chased them, right into the Hakui Jinsuk, the crane wing. The Korean fleet spread out in a massive V shape, surrounding the Japanese on 3 sides. It was a kill zone. 59 Japanese ships were destroyed in hours. The sea was red with the wreckage of Hideyoshi's dreams. Now comes the most tragic part of the story. Yi Sun-shin was too successful. The Korean court grew jealous. Political rivals and Japanese spies framed him for treason. The man who saved the country was dragged to the capital in chains, tortured until his bones were nearly crushed, and sentenced to death. He was only spared because of his legendary reputation, but he was stripped of everything and forced to serve as a common foot soldier. While he was suffering in the infantry, the man who replaced him led the Navy into a catastrophic trap. In one day, almost the entire Korean Navy was wiped out. Only 12 ships escaped. The king, in a panic, reinstated Yi, but he had no fleet. He had 12 ships. The Japanese had 333. The Battle of Myeongyang is the greatest one-man army moment in history. Yi studied the roaring strait, where the tide was so strong it sounded like a crying ghost. He knew the current would flip direction every 3 hours. He held the line alone with his flagship for hours, holding back hundreds of ships in a narrow gap. When the tide finally turned, it smashed the Japanese ships into each other. The 12 ships became a force of nature. They sank 31 enemy vessels and forced the rest to flee. 12 versus 333. And Yi didn't lose a single man. The war was over. Japan was retreating. But Yi Sun-shin refused to let them go. He wanted to make sure they never dared to return. At the Battle of Noryang, he led a combined force to crush the retreating fleet. As the sun began to rise on a free Korea, a stray bullet found its mark. Yi Sun-shin was mortally wounded. Knowing that if his men saw him fall, they would lose heart, he told his son, "The battle is at its height. Wear my armor. Do not let them know I am dead." He died in the moment of his 23rd and final Admiral Yi Sun-shin never lost a ship under his direct command in 23 battles. He was a man of iron, a genius of the sea, and a hero who was betrayed by the very people he saved. If you think this legend deserves to be remembered, hit that subscribe button. We have many more stories of history's greatest icons waiting for you.